The heavy steel door, weighing several tons, hisses shut with a chilling finality. Outside, the world as we know it is vanishing under a cloud of dust and silence. Inside, the air is filtered, the lights are artificial, and the ticking of a clock is the only heartbeat left. A group of people sits around a mahogany table, sipping vintage wine while the rest of the planet faces the unknown. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. It is a reality currently being built beneath the feet of the unsuspecting public. The concept of the underground shelter is as old as human warfare, yet it has evolved into something far more complex than simple concrete boxes. In the modern era, bunkers have become the ultimate symbol of security and status. While the surface of the Earth becomes increasingly volatile due to environmental shifts, geopolitical tensions, and biological threats, a new industry has emerged to provide a sanctuary for those who can afford it. These structures are marketed as the last hope for humanity, a way to preserve the species when everything else fails. However, beneath the surface of this survivalist stream lies a deep and troubling narrative about the value of human life and the persistence of social hierarchy even at the end of the world. Historically, bunkers were utilitarian structures designed for soldiers and government officials. During the Cold War, the fear of nuclear annihilation led to the construction of fallout shelters in backyards across the globe. But today, the bunker has undergone a radical transformation. No longer just a place to hide, it has become a place to live. Modern survival complexes are engineering marvels, capable of sustaining life for years without any contact with the outside world. They feature hydroponic gardens to grow fresh food, advanced water filtration systems that recycle every drop, and even simulated LED windows that mimic the cycle of day and night to keep the human mind from fracturing in the dark. For the wealthy, these are not just shelters, they are luxury estates. Some of the most exclusive bunkers in the world are built inside decommissioned military silos or carved into the sides of mountains. They boast swimming pools, movie theaters, wine cellars, and gyms. The marketing is clear. You are not just surviving the apocalypse, you are outlasting it in comfort. But this luxury hides a darker truth about the logistics of long-term isolation. The most significant aspect of the modern bunker movement is the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. While some companies offer affordable, modular bunkers for the middle class, the true fortresses are reserved for the top 1%. This creates a moral and ethical dilemma. If the end of the world comes, who gets to decide who is worth saving? In these underground communities, power is not just about money, it is about control. Even within a high-tech bunker, a hierarchy inevitably forms. There are the owners, the security personnel, the technicians, and the service staff. Analysts have pointed out that in a prolonged isolation scenario, the traditional structures of money and law might dissolve. A billionaire's bank account means nothing if the security guards decide they no longer want to follow orders. This has led some elite preppers to research ways to maintain control through technology, such as biometric locks or food supply management, further intensifying the atmosphere of distrust and division. Life inside a bunker is a psychological battleground. Humans are social creatures who thrive on sunlight and open spaces. To be confined to a few hundred square meters of underground space, no matter how luxurious, takes a toll on the psyche. The absence of the natural world, the sound of wind, the smell of rain, the vastness of the horizon can lead to profound depression and anxiety. Conflict is another inevitable factor. When a small group of people is trapped together in a confined space under high stress, even minor disagreements can escalate into major confrontations. The social stratification that exists on the surface is magnified in the bunker. The resentment of the workers toward the owners, or the fear of those who were left behind, creates a volatile emotional environment. The hope offered by these shelters is often a fragile one, built on the premise that a small group can thrive while the rest of humanity perishes. The tension reaches its peak when we consider the ultimate flaw of the bunker. It is a closed system. No matter how advanced the technology, every bunker is eventually dependent on the outside world or the finite resources within. If a mechanical part breaks and there's no replacement, or if the soil in the hydroponic garden becomes sterile, the sanctuary becomes a tomb. The most terrifying prospect is not the disaster on the surface, but the realization that the bunker is a physical manifestation of our failure to solve problems as a collective society. Instead of investing in the preservation of the planet and the peace of nations, we have invested in private escapes. The climax of the survivalist story is the moment the door is sealed, and the inhabitants realize that they are not the masters of their fate, but prisoners of their own fear. They have traded their freedom for a few more years of life in a gilded cage. As we look at these massive structures being buried deep into the earth, we must ask ourselves what they represent. Are they truly the seeds of a future civilization, or are they the final monuments to a divided world? The Hum-Thruun are marketed as humanity's last hope, but a humanity that saves only its elite is a humanity that has already lost its soul. True survival may not be found in the thickness of concrete walls or the sophistication of air filters, but in our ability to work together to ensure that we never have to retreat underground in the first place. The story of the bunker is a warning, a reminder that when the world ends, we are either all in it together or we are all lost. The light at the end of the tunnel should not be an artificial LED in a basement, but the sun rising on a world that we fought to protect, not one we chose to abandon.